Welcome to Carter's Retro Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing Darius Gaiden for the Sega Saturn. Now this game was actually requested by one of my viewers. Maybe not requested, more threatened, I guess you could say. Look, it's just this little backwards and forwards thing now that I think about it. You know, he was all like, please review Darius Gaiden, or else I will kill you in cold blood. That sort of thing. It's just this little thing that we go backwards and forwards on. It's no big deal. He was all like, but seriously, review the fucking game, or else I will bury you in a shallow grave. Anyway, I'm reviewing Darius Gaiden because there's a little bit more to it than meets the eye. So, here it is. Darius Gaiden is a shoot-'em-up which started its life in the arcade and then became available on PC, PlayStation 1 and 2, and of course the Saturn. I don't know how these shoot-'em-ups fare on the PlayStation 1, but on the Saturn they've become a hotbed for collectors because the console is a shoot-'em-up's wet dream, and I can only assume would go for far more than their PlayStation counterpart. But this is one of the very few shoot-'em-ups that not only goes for a very fair price on the eBays, but is also one of the very few shoot-'em-ups to get released in the US, PAL, and of course Japan in 1995. So I can't go on my typical tirade on how the Saturn really needed to port the great games to the rest of the world instead of keeping it exclusive to Japan through all the horseshit. The story is pretty standard really, although say what you like, but I enjoy any Saturn game with a story, even if it didn't translate well into broken English. You control Silverhawk and help refugees from the planet Darius flee from the destruction caused by the Belsa army. Suddenly, Belsa rises again and launches a surprise attack on the spaceport on Darius, which is being used to help ferry the remaining Darians to Vadis. I assume that's how that's pronounced, Vadis, V-A-D-I-S. The remaining refugees are killed, and Belsa sets course for Vadis. The fleet of Silverhawks is sent to fend off Belsa, but are easily annihilated. Once again, Proko and Tyat are given no choice but to fend off. A fleet of Silverhawks is sent to fend off Belsa, but are easily annihilated. Once again, Proko and Tyat are given no choice but to fight off Belsa once more. Fuck yeah. The presentation of the game is tight, effective, and not really a bad thing can be said. Colours are vibrant and exciting, and that applies to both menu and in-game presentation. The actual option screen is like sex with a 2-inch chode, a bit shit giving us not a whole lot to work with, but hey, whatever. Graphics of the game is a clear highlight, and if you wanted a game that was to demonstrate the 2D ability of the Saturn around the time of its release, boy, you better bet your left nut this is a clear example. With Taito having some hand in the game, I'm not surprised that this excels where it needs to. But this is one of those prime examples where I found everything looks amazing, but for some reason I wasn't totally immersed. It's not graphical quality because it ticks all the boxes, and I've been right into far worse looking games. It's not gameplay either, and I'll tell you why more in that section. Music is... what the fuck is this shit? Okay, so it sounds like Enya fucked a DJ. And look, I know it's J-pop of some description. The thing is, some levels have really good music, so it starts off with something that doesn't sound like it's out of place, but at the same time, it feels like you could have chosen something better. And then you do in later levels. Now, I'm not saying that the music is bad, I just felt like it could have been done better. Never have I really played a shoot-'em-up that's really floored me, so I guess this is no different. Sound effects, however, really work with the game. Gameplay is pretty good. It's got this whole risk versus reward system, but I did find it punishing a little. Yes, you can upgrade your weapon and shield, which is awesome, but it's compounded by the fact that when you die, that's it. Your weapon goes back to the default you started with, and it's like using a $2 water pistol against a brick wall. I'm making little to no difference no matter how long I shoot at things, and on top of this, the enemies aren't hanging around until I kill them. They're coming at me, and if I'm not strong enough to beat them, I gotta get out of the way. So the best strategy is somehow not die at all, if you can, because when you do, it's a snowball effect and a real uphill battle trying to get your weapons back. However, the controls are like Richard Simmons' Lycra outfit, a real snap. And the other redeeming feature is your bomb is not just an explosion, but it opens a vortex which does considerable damage, sucks all the attacks in, and buys you another few precious seconds, which is a really nice touch and very welcomed. What I was mentioning in the graphics portion of this review was that while I enjoyed myself and had a good time, I have a default level of enjoyment for shoot 'em ups across the board, and very rarely does it ever go below that level, unless the game has some real problems. This game has no technical problems, and I didn't feel I was enjoying it as much as I should, and quite honestly, it could just be a time and place thing, but the feeling still stands, and I report on what I see, hear, and feel. The replay value is the game in either a 1 or 2 player sharing the same screen, and that can be pretty fun. Would I recommend this game? Yeah, I would. It would have to be pretty far gone not to recommend a shoot 'em up on the Saturn. I can't think of one I wouldn't, but keep in mind I wasn't 100% sold on this one either. It does feel like it's missing something, but it's not enough for me to dismiss the game in any fashion. Technically, it's a pretty strong all-rounder and would look great in anyone's collection, but then again, was there any doubt?